Okay, welcome to the channel. And for those of you who are joining after watching the other videos, welcome back. Today I'm going to continue on with Skies Above the Reich. And before I do, have a couple people to thank for some good information here. First off, in my last video, I kept calling it turn 1 instead of turn 2. I was actually finished with turn 2, and we're going to move on to turn 3. But the other thing too is that I did a couple things wrong. I had the advantage here. I had the rot advantage out when I was doing these battles down here in this corner here. And this allows you to take away 1 damage. Now, I really didn't have that because to have the rot advantage, let's see, we'll just take this guy here. Your aircraft needs to be in the determined mode. And all of my aircraft were in the elusive mode. So I wasn't allowed to really use that. I didn't really qualify for that. Fortunately, I did not take advantage of that. So I really want to thank Jim Rose for pointing it out in the comments, and I appreciate you guys keep me in line here, because I do want to make sure I'm doing everything right, and I'm sure I'm going to make some mistakes. Now, the Rot and the Swarm both need determined mode, but the advanced position does not. That can be elusive, so you can use that one. You just can't use these. You can use all 3 in determined mode, but these 2 are specifically for determined mode. So the other person I want to thank is Mark. He talked about the Escorts in the box with the fighter. Now, when the Escort came out and I had those 4 fighters, I was switching through to 2 of them to match the number of the Escort. And I really shouldn't have done that. There should have been all 4 of them to take them on. So I looked up on the aerial combat table, and even if I had the advantage of being 4 to 2, more airplane advantage, the dice roll was exactly the same. And because my one pilot had the Wiley, they would have been able to do the same thing. So again, there was no harm, no foul, but I shouldn't be showing you the wrong thing. So I appreciate you guys making comments and keeping me on track with that. That's going to be important, because I'm sure I will make many more errors as I start moving on to advanced rules. Please do subscribe. That really helps out the channel a lot, and it just makes life much easier for the people who make these videos, myself included. I'm starting off on turn number 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is move my turn marker up to number 3, which you can see right over here. So I'm going to go right on up to number 3. We have 10 turns in here. So the first thing is to move. Well, I have a certain moves. Iflan, I'm hoping I pronounce his name, Iflan, he's going to move to the high box here. And Haas here, he's going to move to the low box. Now, the only thing about having, and the reason that Haas is in determined mode is because he can flip at any time. So he's moving up to the low box here. And this one here is Doppler. He's Doppler, and he's elusive, so he comes back in the elusive box. So we're going to put him in the return here. So the bad thing about elusive is that they have to take an extra turn to come on over. Up here at the top, and let me make sure you can see him. Yes, we have the elusive Wulzer. I hope I didn't pronounce it. Wulzler. I think we're going to move him to the return, and we can't move this one here because he has a damage marker on him. And this is Unger here. So the Unger has a little bit of a damage here. So we can't do anything with him. And over in this box here, we have Griswold, who is sort of going to duke it out with this guy here that was put upon him. We go to returns, and I'm sorry, that's when I should have actually moved these guys during the return move. My apologies, I screwed up again. During the move, I really didn't have anything, but the returns, I had all the return moves. So we basically did number 2, step number 2 instead of number 1. So the next thing is Escorts. So now I got to come back to these Escorts and roll for them again. So we'll go the above trailing because I hate that one the most, and I'm hoping I get a number 1, but let's see what I get. And I get a 10, of course, which is the box with the most fighters. So all of them have 1. So that means, if I'm not mistaken, is that I can choose which box it's going to go to. And I think I'm going to put him onto Iflan here, so that, because he has the Wiley. And below trailer, I'm going to go ahead and roll for him. And I got a 10. So a 10 puts him above trailing. So this guy most definitely is coming out. Now, I'm rolling way too many 10s here. So I'm hoping to at least save those for when I actually need them. Now we have in the escort move, we have a couple battles to take. So the first thing we do is resolve combat here. So this is a dogfight. So fighters may only enter this box as a result of aerial combat. Escorts may enter normally. Fighters in this box must remain until aerial combat is resolved again. Convert a D result to B result for aerial combat room when resolving this box. Okay, so all right, so first we look here. Fighters higher than escort? No. More fighters than escort? No. So we're on the bottom line here of the Spitfire against the Argus, and we're going to roll a red die, and we have a 9. So 8 to 9 is B. B is break off, fighter and 1 escort marker exit. We're going to exit. Griswold is going to leave the game. He's gone. He's out of here. And the Spitfire marker is also leaving. Okay, so the next one we have is this escort here. So we have 2 Spitfires to 1 aircraft there. We want to come over to our table. We got FW 190. Fighter higher than escort? No. More fighters than escort? No. So we're over on this table. We're going to roll a red die again and see what happens. And we have an 8. So an 8 to 9 is B. Break off, fighter and escort marker exit. So I believe that they both exit because when I read the rule for Wiley, when aerial combat results that forces the fighter to dogfight box, use this skill to either exit or move any return box. The escort marker exits and the rest remain where they are. So both these are also going to exit. So we're going to lose our guy with the Wiley, and we're going to lose this too. So we've lost 2 fighters. Okay, but we still have 4 fighters here, so we're still looking good. So the next thing is recovery. So we have this one over here. This has 5 to the rudder. So we'll just bring them down here so you can see it. So we have 5 to the rudder here on Unger. So we're going to roll a die. We have to get equal to or greater than 5. So come on, high dice. The red dice gives me a 4. So he gets damaged in the rudder. So he's got damage. So we're going to have to take him on over here to rudder. And so he's going to stay here the rest of the game until we find out what happens to him with his rudder. This can go back into the chit jar, but he stays here. So we lost another pilot over here on recovery. Okay, so having a great round last time. I've already lost half of my group here. So let's see, next thing we're gonna do is blast and flak, which there is nothing there for blast and flak. Gonna do cohesion. So let's see if we can get lucky and get some damage done here, or at least some elements fall out. So up here we have a fallen bomber. We have 1, so we have to get 1 or better. And we roll. All right, we got a 1. So, man, I do more damage on my rolls than I do with the actual planes here. All right, so the element is loose there. So that gives us an advantage here. We have 2 pieces here, so we're gonna roll for a 2 or less. And we get a 7, so nothing there. This one is also a 1, and we get a 10, so nothing there. Now this one has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So let's see if we can drop this last one out of the sky here. So we get a 1. So that's below it. So that's going to go ahead and knock this guy to fallen. So even though no fighter gets this impact goes back in the chit glass, so does this one to cut. But so this guy is fallen now, and all 3 of these bombers are out of this formation completely. So we will get credit for all 3 of these. We won't get credit for this fallen one up here because this one started the game when it came in, so we don't get credit for that one. But we will end up getting credit for these. All right, so then we do our attacks. We have no attacks. Now we're going to move up to turn number 4. So as you can see, I'm moving on up to turn number 4 there. And so we just start all over again. We're going to go to moves, have only this move here, but I'm going to choose not to move him. He's going to stay right there. Then I'm going to go to my returns, and I'll bring him down into the high and bring him on up into the return here. So we have that. We have the escorts. So we only have one escort here. Of course, he is on the above trailing, so odds are he's coming out. Unless I can get my elusive one here, he'll be coming out. So we're going to roll, and we get an 8. So an 8 is the box with the most fighters. So I really don't have a box with the most fighters, so I think I'm going to put him on the one box that I'm waiting for. So let's do this. I'll bring him on over to this guy down here, to Doppler. We'll put him on him, because that way if he leaves, at least I will have an attack this turn, or next turn I should say. We have these two, so we're going to flip this on over, and we see the 6 Spitfires. So I'm definitely going to say we're a bit outnumbered. He might be hurting here. So let's go on over to our aerial combat table. So again, no fighter is not higher. Actually, yeah, he was lower, but more fighters than escort, no. So we're on this bottom row again. So here we go. Gonna roll red die and see what we get, and we get a 9. Man, it's so close. We almost took him out. B has, if you remember, is break off fighter and escort marker leave. So the nice thing is this is leaving. He's leaving. We now have 2 fighters in play that should be able to stay in play for a little bit unless they get wiped out by the cards. We go to Cohesion again, so we're going to start up at the top here. These have 2. We're going to roll for 2 or less, and we get a 3. So we missed that one. This has 2. We get a 4. This has 1, and we get an 8. So there really is no reason to roll on this one down here, because all the bombers are gone, so there's nothing that we can gain from there. So attacks, we have no attacks, so this turn is ended. We're going to go up to turn number 5 now, so we're halfway through. Turn number 5, so we're going to start with our moves. So we're going to bring him into the low box, and we're going to bring him into the high box here. Come on down to the returns. So no returns. Escorts, we only have 1 escort. He's right here. He can only move if somebody's near him, from what I understand. But if I'm wrong on that, please leave a comment down below and let me know if I'm wrong on that. But I believe he stays in this box right here. So then we go to blast and flak, which I think I didn't go through last time, but there's still no blast and flak on this game here that we're doing. Go back to Cohesion. So I'm going to roll for 2 up here. Red die gets a 4. I'm going to roll for 2 down here. 8 and 1 here. And a 9. So nothing on these 3 here. So now we go to our approach here. Okay, so we're going to come on out, and let's see. I like this element up here has a -2. This one has a -1. So I think I'm going to go up here and attack the nose here and come in and attack the tail high. So let me get my two markers here so that remember that this is at high. I know, it's been a while since I did this. So now we're going to engage. We got to do a collision check. We don't have any collisions going on. We select our maneuver. Him climb so that he goes to the high box over on the other side. He's going to dive, woozer, something like that. He's going to dive, and so he's going to come to the low box down here. The other one will go to the high box up here, so that's my plan. Then we check for advantage, and we do have elements attacking for more than 1 altitude and position. So these guys are attacking at that. And let's see. I did not select the mode, so I should have done that before I put these maneuvers in. So because this comes with the elusive, I'm going to go ahead, evasive. Do I want evasive now? So that's going to take 2 more turns. That will give me 1 more attack. You know what? I'm going to take a chance. We're just going to go at them with determined mode here. I think we're just going to keep them as they are. So we have that all set up. So now it's time to draw cards and see what we have. So we'll do the tail first. Tail, he's attacking from high. He would be 0 because it's 2 minus 2. So he's going to be 0. So let's do the tail. So we're attacking tail high, and it's a 0. So it's a good thing we weren't unevasive. So we actually get a hit right here. So that's good. So we have a hit. Going to place a hit on this bomber here, and it's 10 to the fuselage. So can we keep up our 10 streak? Here goes. No, we get an 8. So this guy gets 1 damage to the fuselage. Now Haas here, he's attacking on the nose, and the nose is low. So we're going to take out a nose card here. And again, we have the nose at a 0, attacking low. So we look on here, we have 0 attacking low, which is just a fly through. No damage, no nothing. He's just going to fly right by him. So that's all that's going to happen here. So we'll move him into this square with this pilot here. So the next thing we have is we have continuous fire. So first we'll do our high tail pilot right here. And he is continuous fire. Okay, so we have our continuous fire. It's at 0 and it's nothing here, but we do have a bounce. Now bounce, after continuous fire of diving or dive rolling, which we are, if escort marker is in below trailing station, it attacks this fighter. Afterwards, if not exiting or dogfighting, fighter breaks away to tail elusive return and escort below trailing. So we don't have an escort in below trailing. There's no escorts left. So I don't believe that we do anything. We just ignore that. So if I'm incorrect on that, please let me know. All right, so now this guy is going to dive on down into this return here. And we're going to go to the regular return. We don't have an evasive. So we're going to do that. We do have that advantage. So we still haven't used that or needed to so far. So now we're going to have Haas here, who is climbing. Haas. I'm hoping I'm saying those German names right. I'm probably not, but you know, you'll let me know. So I'm going to draw another continuous fire card. And again, it's a 0. So there's nothing. He of course is climbing, slow climb. If climbing or climb rolling, break away to tail position. So it doesn't say where I'm supposed to go on tail position. So I'm already heading that way. So I guess I just go right up to the high return up here in the corner, I'm assuming. Because it doesn't tell me not to keep climbing. It just says break away to tail position. Now it does have a +2, so we actually have to we'll look over the 2 column here, but we still don't have any damage. So I guess that's the part that can hurt you right there. So we're lucky for that. So we don't have any damage because we're in the 2 here. We're good. All right, so then we'll clear off these squares here, and we'll also put our position back here because we didn't have to use that. So that worked out well. You know, you get these and you don't get to use them, but that's okay. That's twice I've done that. All right, so that ends our combat here. Everybody's back at their return and stuff. So next thing we're gonna do is move our mission turn up to turn number 6. Okay, so back at it. We got moves, which we don't have. We do our return, so he's gonna go low, he's gonna go high. And I should put them like that. And then we go to escorts. Our escort is here. That's the only one that's left. So we're not going to do anything with him. We're going to leave him alone. We don't have any recoveries to do. Blast and flak, nothing. So we got cohesion here. So we're going to try this element up here. We need a 3 or less. And we get a 4. So we just missed that. Need a 2 or less. And we get a 4. So we missed that even by more. And this one is a 2. And we needed a 1. So we got nothing there. So the cohesion, all good going across the board. We don't have any attacks. So now we go on to the next turn. So you can see that sometimes this moves rather quickly. So we're going up to turn number 7 here, mission turn number 7. Okay, so start at turn 7. We're going to go ahead and make our move. We're going to go low nose attack and high tail attack. And we move on to returns. We have no returns on the board. Escorts. Well, the only escort is here. And I believe he just stays there unless somebody gets close to him. But if I'm doing this wrong, please do not hesitate to let me know. Then we have recovery. There's no planes to recover. Blast and flak, none of that. And now we're on to cohesion. So cohesion, we start up here. And we're going to roll a 2. And there's 3 here. So that actually makes this unit kaput. So that's nice, because guess where my attack's going to go? This one here has 2, so we need 2 or less. Never rolled this well. We did get a 2, so this flips on over to kaput. Now I got a decision to make. And this one is 1. And it's a 9. I'm glad that wasn't a 1 because then that's too much. Now this one here, it's kaput. Now generally, you should roll, if you had bombers left here, you'd roll for this because if they do pass, they go back up to element of loose. So you flip that back over. But because all the bombers are gone, you don't roll for this anymore for cohesion. So now we go into our attacks. So I'm still going to go up here to the top, I think, because that's 3, where this is only 2. So I'm going to go ahead and come on up here and attack this one that has some damage on it. And he's coming in high. And he will also be attacking, Haas will be attacking for high tail right there. So this is our approach. Now, we've never got out of the sun because I'm not a big fan of coming in from the flank because the flank doesn't do much damage. So the out of the sun happens to be there, so we've never got that advantage, so we're not worried about that. Select the modes. Well, I'm going to keep them both in determined mode this time. Although the other mode has been working quite well for me, but then at this point I'm on turn 7, so this would be turn 8, bringing them in, then turn 9, I'd only get 1 more attack. If I do this, I would still get 1 more attack on 10, but let's see what happens here. So we'll keep them in determined mode and hope that that works. Now, no collision check, maneuvers, so I'm going to do my standard maneuvers. He's going to dive and he's going to climb. That way they climb up to high tail and low nose again. And then we check for advantage. Well, the only one that we're going to have is elements attacking from more than 1 altitude or position. We're going to have position. We don't have 2 fighters in the space. We don't have 4 attacking from 1 area. So that's all we have. So at least we got enough to save 1 damage here. All right. So after that, we move on to flight attacks. So the first one we'll take care of is this one right here. He's kaput and fallen, so that's -3. He's in a 2, so that's a 0. So he is low nose. So we're going to take a nose card right here. So we're in low, we're nose and we're low and we're coming into determined mode and it's just a 1 pass through. We missed completely. So he's just going to pass on through, be climbing up there. And our second attack's coming from a high tail. So we're going to take high tail again. We're in a 2. And if we were attacking low, we'd be a 3 actually, but we are attacking high, so we're in a 2, but it doesn't matter because we have -3 anyway, so it'll still be a 0. So we have 0 high on the tail, determined mode, and he's got a hit here. So we get a hit. So we take one of these markers and we put it here. It's a 10 fuselage. So let's roll. Okay. I didn't think I'd ever have another round where I'd be rolling this good, but I am. So we got a 10. So that basically has taken this guy out of the sky, which is rather unbelievable. So we destroyed him. And the nice thing about that is we get to add, we'll put these back in the cup. We get to add a kill for Haas, which I believe is 2 points. So Haas gets another 2 points here underneath the experience. So let's see, destroyed, yep, 2. So he gets 2 more points. So right now he has 4 experience points. Okay, so now we move on to continuous fire. And we're going to take continuous fire on our high guy here, diving Haas. We'll do Haas first. So 0 for Haas is nothing here. However, he is rolling, let's see, power bleed. If climbing or climb rolling, after resolving continuous fire, fighter switch to evasive mode and then breaks away tail low. All right, so we're not too happy to get that, but that's better than damage. So he's going to break away in evasive mode And he's going to go to tail low, which you can see this is bad for us because now when he comes into the return box, guess who he's going to be fighting right here. So that's not good. So my best laid plan's gone awry. Okay, so we're going to do continuous fire. This guy is a low position, again 0. So he's actually climbing. Oh, wait, back up. My mistake. This card actually said climb or climb rolling. We were doing he was diving, so there was actually nothing. So he comes back, so my plans aren't messed up. He comes back to here because we did the diving first. This guy is climbing, so he's actually getting this card right here. So, oh, then that's better. See, I'm not going to run into this guy yet. Let's see what we got. Continuous fire 0, nothing there. Strafe, expert only. Roll 2 die. If one or both the numbers are even, bomber in the element is damaged. Well, that's for an expert, which he is not. He is not an expert. So all we do is just fly back home. Okay, so again, I had a position advantage that I did not have to use. Let me put this guy where he belongs. So he's climbing to high return here. So again, I had position here. Didn't have to use that. I can put the climb away here. And everything is good. So we finished up this turn. Both our guys back in the positions that we want. So all is looking good so far. Okay, so we moved the turn counter up to 8. So we're 2 away from 10. So start on our moves again. When we have the move, which we don't have because both these are in return boxes. We do our return next. So bring them low and high. And go to our escort. He's still there. Almost had something coming into him because I messed up or was messing up. So he thought he had something coming in. Blast and flak, none of that here. Cohesion. So we have 3 up here. So we'll roll the die here. And it's a 6, so nothing happens there. This does improve to loose, element loose. So we roll here on this kaput. That's an 8, so this improves. And this needs a 1, 2, and it has a 4, so it's all good. And this one, nothing is here. Have reached the end of our turn because there's no attacks. So now we're just going to move our mission turn up to mission turn number 9. We're almost done here. So we start with our move. We're going to low approach, high approach, just like before. And oh, no, he wasn't evasive. Sorry. I had him as evasive because remember I goofed him up. I set him over to high, but he's actually still in determined mode. They both are. All right, so we move them in. No returns. Escort still sitting there waiting for somebody to beat up. Recovery. There's no recovery going on. Blast and flak 0. So cohesion. So we have 3 over here. Going to roll for this, and we get an 8. Now the element still stays loose. Once it's loose, it's always loose, so it doesn't improve to better. So it just stays like that. Coming on over here to this one, and we have a 9, so nothing happens here. Here's a 3, we needed a 1, we're good there. So now we're on to the attacks. So again, this has 3 minus here, so I'm definitely going to go up here and try to get this 1 guy here. So the nose is coming in low. Now, if this was anchored, I don't know if you remember, but at the very beginning we were looking for anchored. If we had anchored in this position, that would be a +1 there. But right now, it's just a 1 on this attack right here to him. And this guy is coming out of the sky. We'll move this element loose here. Squares underneath to dictate that he is high, so he's coming in high right there. Then we're going to select modes here, so we're going to keep them both indeterminate again. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter. This guy, I'm going to flip him on over to evasive. So this guy is going to be an evasive. This guy has the quicken skill, so I can flip him at any time. So I'm going to leave him in determined. This guy is going to be an evasive. Then I'm going to select my maneuvers. And again, I'm going to have him climb. And I'm going to have him dive, just like before. And the advantage, we still have position advantage. So we got 1 free get out of jail card here if we happen to get shot at. And now it's time to pull a card. So we'll start with our climbing guy here. So I'll try to remember that he's climbing. He's nose, he's at a 0. So we take our nose card right here. So we have our nose here. That's a 0. And we come down and it's low and it's in determined mode. So normally we would take a hit for that. We'd have a hit and then we'd pass through 1. But because Haas has that unique ability, he can flip on over to evasive. He's a fast reactor, that guy. And now he's at evasive, so we just fly through 1. So the nose hasn't really done too much for me, so maybe I might rethink that one. But yeah, so he's going to just fly through 1. So he'll come right on over here and just flew right by that bomber. So now we're going to go with our gentleman here, the evasive. And this is Woozer. He's attacking from the tail. And he's attacking high, and he is diving. And we have 0 tail high. Doesn't matter what mode he's in, he's getting hit, but we actually get some damage going on right here. From high, we have damage. So we have to pull out a damage marker for him. Oh, before I was supposed to pull it out, actually I should decided I'm going to use my position. So I actually do that before I pull that out. So I'm going to use this position advantage to knock off that damage right there. So then he just stays in that spot. Now we have continuous fire, so we'll do the low guy first. We're going to pull a continuous fire card here. And he is, well, I say low, but he's climbing, so he's low. So he's at a 0, he's in invasive. Nothing happens, hard roll. If diving rolling, which he isn't, so he walks away and flies back. So we're going to take him and climb him on up to the return high. And now this guy, he's going to take continuous fire. He's in evasive right now. Well, he's in evasive permanently. And he's diving from the tail. So he's at a 0, continuous fire, evasive, nothing. He is not the expert. So he is not an expert, so expert only roll 2 die. So if I had expert pilots on these last 2, we'd actually accumulate more damage. So this guy here, he's going to come down to low return. Okay, so we have our final turn to do, which really could help, could do something, depending on how the cohesion goes. And so far that's been pretty good, but we'll go through the next move. Turn number 10 is at our flight limit, and I believe that we play out this turn. So, okay, so we're going to do our move. Well, we don't have any moves. We do a return. They both come up here to the return, so nothing happens there. Escort stays there. Recovery, no recoveries. Blast and flak. Then we go to cohesion. So cohesion is the last place where we might get some more damage. So we have 3 things here, and we get a 7, so that nothing happens here. So we have 2 here, we need 2 or less. We get a 9, nothing happens here. We have 1 there, we need 1 or less. And we have a 5, which that wouldn't matter anyway. Even if we got the 1 or less, we'd just get a loose, but that wouldn't add any more points. So we've come to the end of the mission. And so now we start racking up the points. Well, the elements loose don't count for anything, so they can just go back. And kaput doesn't count for anything anymore, so that can just get out of our way, so we don't have to worry about that. And then we have these markers here, which don't mean anything. We're going to put them away. And we have this one here is a destroyed bomber, fallen, and fallen. This one does not count because this one came into the game with this fallen on it, so we don't count that one. So we have 2, 4, 6 points there that we've earned, which that's pretty darn good, actually. That's really darn good. Okay, so we earned 6 experience points for the Staffel, and then we earned 4 victory points for the Staffel, which we have placed in our Staffel log here and here. Okay, so our last thing to do is to take care of our rudder damage here. Remember we had rudder, so we have to roll a die, and first we're going to see if he lands or crashes. So we go to the FW190, and we'll see what happens here on this roll. And we get a 6. So 1 to 6. Oh, just missed it. So he crashes. So that's not good. So now we got to see if if he bailed out or if he did not. So let's roll for that and see if he bails out. And we got a 2. Oh, 2. He's wounded. Oh. All right, so he still gets an experience point, but now he's wounded, so he goes up to a different location. Okay, so he's wounded, so he comes up here to the wounded section here. Now he gets an experience point, so he gets another experience point. But the only problem now is that he is wounded, so he's out the game. You roll each time for a 9 or 10. At the start of each subsequent mission, you may attempt to return. So what we have to do is we have to roll a die of 9 or 10. Any other results would be that he's wounded and he just is here. So you can replace a wounded pilot. But this is at the end of the mission, so I'd have to check and see. I think that we just start over. So I'm not sure if he stays in the wounded and I have to keep rolling for him and use one less pilot or not. I'll have to look that up. Okay, so that's the end of the mission. Mission number 1. Hope you enjoyed that. Please do like and subscribe, and I will go on to mission number 2 because we have 6 to do. But mission number 2 is probably going to go a lot faster now that we all understand the rules and we can work through this. But so far I'm saying this is an excellent first round. I've never scored this high, never had this kind of damage done to bombers, so I'm pretty happy as to where I'm sitting right now. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you're here for the next one.